What's going on, YouTube? It's Squids. How you doing? I haven't done a video in a minute, and this is something that I've been wanting to do for, well, I think it's been almost a month now since it dropped. The Dragon Ball Super superhero movie review. Now, I didn't really want to do this video because of my bias, I guess, and how disappointed I ended up being with it, but the show must go on, and I have to give my review on it. As a longtime Dragon Ball fan, I wanted to express my opinions unbiasedly and then biasedly, and see where we go from there, because I think it was a complete and total failure. But the numbers are saying differently, which also has to do with the fandom. So that's the other part we're going to get into as well with this video. So without further ado, let's stop talking. Let's talk about the plot and then get into this. So here we go.
Winning this fight. This guy seems to learn his opponent's techniques as he fights.
With this movie being revealed, there was a lot of hype for it, considering we hadn't seen anything from the Dragon Ball community in a few years. Since the ending of Dragon Ball Super, I want to say that was, I'm trying to think mentally, 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. So it's been 5-6 years since we've seen any digital media in the Dragon Ball world. And I mean, we had the manga from Toyotaro with the Granola arc and the Moro arc and what's going on right now with Black Frieza, and we won't even get into that because that's just a nightmare altogether. So we haven't had anything. Well, we had Dragon Ball Heroes, which, I mean, if you're into that, you're into that. If you're not, you're not. It's kind of more like a fanfic, non-canon-esque type of vibe, and I mean, that's not for everyone. It really isn't. I wasn't a big fan of it. Granted, it did serve a lot of fan service, which tends to be the main thing nowadays, is fan service for any medium. And I just kind of get over that after a certain point, because, you know, it's, you can do it all you want, but in the end, it gets old. And we need a new story, which is, we'll get there. This is a big thing. So movie starts off, and this is kind of vague memory. I only watched it one time, and I went and seen the sub. Didn't me and my friend were the only two people in the theater, so we went. You know, it was a good night. Ended up being a bad night, not only from the movie but other aspects. That's not the point. So you get in the movie and you find out that essentially the beginning is that Gohan has kind of just been just doing his work, like, you know, the bitch boy he is, and Piccolo's been taking care of Pan a lot lately and being bribed with these really crappy plushies, which it kind of gives me a Dragon Ball vibe from the get-go, like old school Dragon Ball, which I have no problem with, because in my honest opinion, Dragon Ball era, some parts of Z and GT were superb. Super had its moments, nothing that, like, compared to either of any of those, but Super had its moments, and you know, that's something to give it. Mostly the Tournament of Power that dragged on way too long, but the fight scenes and it just drew it spectacularly. But I digress. So we go back, and that's happening. Piccolo's kind of mad that Gohan hasn't been training and nothing, you know, like that. What if another enemy comes by? You know, kind of premonitioning it and everything. So that's going down, and we kind of find out that there's this new villain related to the Red Ribbon Army, but they're separate. His grandfather was Dr. Gero of the Artificial Humans, 17, 18, all the other ones, Cell, and they're interested in him because he has the ability and technology of his grandfather, but superb, on the next level, right? And so they get him. He gets out of prison, and Red Ribbon's been kind of stalking him for a hot minute to try to get him to acquire something to take out Goku and Vegeta and all these main guys that are just protecting Earth constantly. Now, we kind of get a little bit of back on him. He hates his grandfather and the shadow that he's been putting on him as a person. And I understand that aspect. You know, we got so far, it's starting out pretty decently well. So they kind of get him to get on board with this, but he has his own rules. You know, he wants to create 2 androids that are reminiscent of, well, superheroes, because he's obsessed with superheroes, and they agree to that. But they also want him to create a more perfect version of Cell. Now, right off the bat, I've already kind of have a gripe with this. I know it is Toriyama's, thing to kind of do like a throwback and like, I mean, look at all the movies. I mean, granted, the movies technically aren't canon, but I mean, as everybody says, this is pretty much Bio Broly mixed with Cell 101. So we got that going on. Subplot, which has like absolutely nothing to do with the story, but they gotta throw it in or else, they're afraid the movie's not gonna get views. But we got Goku, Vegeta, and Broly training on Beerus' planet, and Beerus is napping for a good chunk of it. Whis is doing most of the speculating, spectating, make sure nothing crazy happens. But between the fighting and everything, Beerus does wake up. We get the little green girl I can't remember her name from the Broly movie that was with Broly, and Beerus ends up kind of having like a crush on her. He finds her attractive, which I find hilarious. But they're trying to show Broly how to kind of like just buff it out without having to go berserk mode or whatever you want to call it. And that's all happening. And so they're buffing it out, having a fight. But before the fight, Goku, of course, needs to eat food. So they make a meal, or the green girl makes a meal for everybody. And they eat and eat and eat. And then she starts to do dishes and they roll it out. That's pretty much how you get out of that. We go back to Earth. And we get the threat coming. And Piccolo is kind of just meditating on his home. And one of the superhero droids comes and attacks him. Because they've designed them, they're just testing them out right now. And they go and fight Piccolo. And Piccolo, coincidentally, does not stand a chance. Which I find ludicrous as hell that they do that. And the android thinks he destroys Piccolo. And then they freaking, like... they think to destroy Piccolo. And he leaves. But Piccolo is like, oh my god, this is terrible. And so that happens. And they go back to the base. Like, I destroyed Piccolo. He was a piece of cake. I don't know what the threat was, essentially. And so that goes down. And while that's all coming around, Piccolo's trying to like get a hold of Vegeta and Goku on the planet. And he talks to Bulma because Bulma has a connection with them. But they won't answer because they're brawling it out. And so that's going down. Good old plot hole right there from the get-go. And while that's going down, Piccolo is trying to like get Gohan's attention, but that don't work. So he infiltrates the base to kind of see what's going down. And then while that's going down, he kind of finds out about the Cell and the other one. And he learns that they're trying to figure out a way to get Gohan to come out. And they've been excuse me, and they have been pretty much convincing this boy that these guys are the bad guys. And he's like, well, I thought Hercule defeated Cell. He's like, no. So that's kind of like showing that Hercule didn't do shit. These guys did, and they're actually really aliens, bad guys, and we need to take them down. Which is totally not true. Well, they are aliens, but it's not true, vice versa. And so that goes down, and Piccolo's in there, and they're trying to figure out a way to get Gohan out. So they're gonna rob Pan, and of course Vegeta, disguised as one of these minions, goes, I know where they live, I can get a hold of them. And then it gets a little sus, but like they trust him. So they go there, and Piccolo, well, they go to the school to meet her, actually. So Piccolo ends up taking out this guard that was gonna abduct her, and he's like, Pan, this is a secret, but it's me, and we're pretty much just trying to lure your dad out to fight. And so they bring her back, and she plays with it as the victim card. And they go to tell Gohan that they have their daughter, and he gets pissed and he shows up there. And so this fight's going down with these super androids, and this is where things even get more whack, and I am just ugh. So what happens now is Piccolo loses his guard down after kind of like the fight starting, and Gohan's getting his ass kicked, right? And they kind of get Bulma kind of gets everybody along with the tag. And I know I'm forgetting the part beforehand, a little bit before this happens. They gather the Dragon Balls, and Piccolo just wishes for more power, right? Keep that in mind. And so he gets more power, and Bulma just wishes for like a lift on her ass. And like, that's it. They could have made so much better wishes to get those guys here, which they talk about later. But they could have made a wish to get Goku and Vegeta to come, but they never did. So Piccolo starts fighting, and they all start fighting, and Piccolo gets a transformation, which is the Cheeto version that everybody sees. Not a fan of it. I'm really pissed that they used Shenron to awaken Piccolo's powers, but I digress. Yada yada yada. It's pretty cool. It pretty much just looks like the Universe 6 Namekians from the Tournament of Power. Whatever. And so that Piccolo ends up getting his ass kicked like that, right? So then Gohan ends up getting his power up from the fight, which is like that Wolfman version after Cell's pretty much coming after everybody because Krillin, 18. I'm trying to think who else, but I think there's one more fighter that gathers around to kind of try to help the situation. And they ended up taking them both, those superheroes, down, but the bad guy, Red Ribbon, ends up activating Cell. And then little boy, the scientist, ends up finding out they were lying to him. And so the only way to not destroy this Cell is the back of his head, I guess, is a weakness. Huh, go figure, right? So one of them goes to try to take him out and ends up getting destroyed. So he's gone for good. And now we've got this one, Gohan transformed, Piccolo and his new transformation. And the thing that pissed me off most about Gohan's transformation is the fact that it was just so acquired so easily. There was emotions. It's just recapping on the Cell saga, and it's so annoying. So they do that, and they fight Cell. Long story short, they win, and it's it feels so cheated. They just barely get it, and then it kind of concludes with, everything's fine. They just let the boy go because that's the right thing to do with his android. And Piccolo's like, well, I kind of told you so. And that's pretty much it. Like, there's a little more that I'm forgetting because, like I said, it's been like a month I haven't seen it, but that was like it, right? So I guess after the end credit scenes, because I left, I was just disappointed as all hell. There was the end of the spar with Vegeta and Goku, and Vegeta wins. So all the Vegeta fanboys have gone just ape about this, right? And that's pretty much the ending of the movie. Okay. So there's that. So overall, from a fan's perspective, I can see the hype. We haven't got anything in 5 years. I mean, it had Gohan. It had Piccolo. Everybody just loved it, right? The fight scenes were okay. The full CGI was trash. I don't care if anybody says it was trash. And Piccolo's transformation requirement was trash. Gohan's transformation requirement was trash. If anything, I couldn't, even the plot, it was recycled. I couldn't find one good thing in this movie that I decently liked. Whereas the Broly movie had great visuals. The fight scenes were great. Sure, it was another rehashed Dragon Ball movie because that's what shonen movies are. But, hear me out, at least the Broly movie had some new aspects. Made Gogeta canon, and it was all around a great 6.5 to 7 out of 10 movie. This movie I gave a 2 out of 10. It was good. I felt like I wasted a lot of my time and money. I'm very excited for the Super franchise to come back next year with Toyotaro in the direction that he wants to take it. But as of this movie, I think it was just hype nostalgic train. There was nothing worth a shit about it. Now, it's just a loser weeb's opinion, and I have kind of fallen off the shonen train. It's nothing I go to first. It's nothing that I love to death. It's boring. And that, granted, I enjoyed Fairy Tail. I enjoyed Shaman King. There's tons of them I enjoyed. Still do enjoy. I just think they could have done a more original take than bringing Cell back in a new transformation in Berserk form, giving our MCs of the film 2 new transformations that they acquired so easily within such a short amount of time. No back, no nothing. Looked like poop, and there was just nothing original. Like I said, the beginning had promise. Don't get me wrong, it had some promise, even though the visuals were terrible. But they dropped the ball, and that's after them promising us it was gonna be the best thing ever. And they had even delays because of the hacking and everything. and it still ended up like that. I just can't fathom why this grossed so much. It had to be curiosity. I wish I could say something positive about it for as much as I've been a Dragon Ball fan over the years, but I just really can't. There's just nothing redeemable about it, and it's a shame. It really is a shame, and nobody's gonna hate me for this opinion, but my goodness, why in the world do Dragon Ball fans love this stuff? Toyotaro needs to just take the full reins. Granted, I know with the manga right now, the Dragon Ball with Frieza Black and everything, it is getting just full on ludicrous, and I don't know how to feel about that either. But it's still better than a rehash of a rehash of a rehash. Okay, the Dragon Ball franchise essentially needs to end, but it won't. It won't. But it really does need to end, in my opinion. And there's not much more I wanted to say about it. I just wanted to get that out there. I don't understand why it got so big. I mean, they had the budget to push it. They took the time and effort to put out full CGI, which is lazy as hell. Cell shading is proven. It's like practical effects in real movies. It's proven to look better. It does look better, and it holds more test of time. This is going to age so quick. It is going to age so quick, and hear my words, it's just not going to hold up, and this was not a good first look after 5-6 years for Dragon Ball. I really hope when Super comes back they redeem that, but we shall see in the near future how that goes. I am on vacation in a week from now, and I will be doing 9 videos 9 days in a row, higher quality than this. One will be a vlog from when I go to the Trash Days live show. Looking forward to that. And the rest of the time, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So I thank you all for your viewage, and if you like this video, give it a like. If you got any opinions on it, why you liked it, or anything, just engage with me down below. Leave a subscription if it kept you interested, and with that being said, we'll talk to you later. Peace.